You're watching news now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross have condemned the killing of an aid worker by Boko Haram insurgents in Borno State. Saifura Kosa was abducted at the RAN camp for internally displaced persons in Borno after an attack by the insurgent. She was executed by the terrorists who accused the federal government of slow response. Amnesty International and President Muhammadu Buhari have also condemned the killing. The terrorists have also threatened to harm other captives, including the lone Dapchi schoolgirl Leah Sharibu, still in their custody. In his reaction to the threat, President Buhari pledged his commitment to rescuing all captives of the terrorists. The Kano State Assembly has confirmed Nasiru Gawuna as the new deputy governor of the state. Gawuna's nomination was confirmed after screening by the Kano Assembly on Tuesday. He was nominated by the state governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, following the resignation of the former deputy governor, Hafiz Abubakar. Before his confirmation, Gawuna was the commissioner for agriculture and a two-term Nasarawa local government chairman. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has assured he is committed to equitable distribution of appointments across all states of the Federation. The President made the pledge at a meeting with leaders and elders of Akwa Ibom State at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. He also used the opportunity to list several infrastructure projects in Akwa Ibom and its neighboring states.
My well-known political associates and supporters, as well as new ones, those who joined our train earlier and those who have just joined us in the latest change of political camps are equally welcome. I appreciate and welcome you all into the ruling party, the APC. I have taken note of your appreciation of the appointments into the federal service from your state, and I assure you that I shall continue to be fair and equitable in federal appointments to all states of the country. On infrastructure, I thank you for appreciating the award of contracts for dualization of the Otukpa-Ni-Itu, Ekot-Pepene Road in Cross River and Akwa Ibom State, handled by Julius Baja Nigeria PLC, in the sum of 54.17 billion naira. The sum of 11.1 billion naira has also been provided in the 2018 budget for the award of contract for the dualization of the outstanding portion of the Odukpani-Itu to Oket-Pene Road, Lot 2. The project is being processed for procurement under the direct procurement method to fast-track the project.
In his response, leader of the delegation, Godswill Akpabio, commended the president for the work done by his administration. He also assured that the state will provide victory for President Buhari at the 2019 elections.
In Akwa Ibom alone, we have, working with the national leadership, particularly the leader Siwaju Tinubu and Adams Oshimole, our national chairman, we recorded about 256,000 new registered members of the APC in Akwa Ibom alone. 256,000. What it means, Mr. President, is that together with the old members, we have almost 400,000 registered as people carrying cards as members of the APC in Akwa Ibom. And because politics is all about intimidation, I can mention that most of these people are married. That means that their children will also join them to vote for you. So in essence, Mr. President, if anybody comes to the villa to say they want to do any deal, I will support you to have 40%, and then you will support me to continue as governor. With what you have seen today, Mr. President, I think that issue is dead on arrival. I had to mention this because a couple of our governors, who are serving governors of the APC, approached me and said they want to make deals for some PDP governors to come and meet me and talk about the percentage and all that. And a few PDP governors also made me that they want to give you percentage. I told them that President Muhammadu Buhari is not looking for any percentage. He's looking for outright victory.
In Lagos, one of the governorship aspirants has pledged to focus on the eradication of poverty if elected as governor. Owolabi Silas, who will be representing the Alliance for Democracy, accused political parties across the country of only working to promote their selfish interest. He pledged that his government, if elected, will focus on empowering the masses.
Well, we have a great vision, particularly for the less privileged. My concern is about the impact, of the economic impact on the less privileged, because there's a big challenge in Lagos State right now. The gap is not breached, rather than being breached between the rich and the poor, it's been widening. So the rich people are getting richer and the poor people are getting poorer. So my real focus is how to bridge that gap in basic needs. You look at education, you look at housing situation in Lagos State right now. It's a major problem. It's a neglect. People are pillaging the resources. We have enough resources in this Lagos, but it's going to private hands, So we want to take government and give it to the people.
What happened to the people in the house? Those are the people we are targeting. That is why we came up with the idea of a Star Alliance. That's Lagos Coalition Movement. We started with 14 political parties. Later we grew into 24, and we are still growing. So because we just want to come together just to wrestle power. The Commonwealth, actually the Commonwealth of the whole state, the Lagos State, as rich as Lagos State is, be going to a particular post.
Meanwhile, a former chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State has boasted that his new party will retain the governorship seat in the state. Mashood Salvador joined the APC last month after disagreement with the leadership of the PDP. He says his new party is strong enough to retain the governorship seat in the southwestern states.
We are declaring today to APC because of the insensitivity of the leadership of PDP. You are in the media business. You knew what happened in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. That even landed me in Ikoyi prison without even national chairman saying, "What are you doing there? Hello, how are you feeling?" Till this very minute. That is not good enough for anybody. And if anything like that happens to anybody and you don't find a better level, it can take your life. In PDP was to make sure people have their voters card, people registered in MMAS, and for the funniest thing about it is that they don't know nobody except Salvador that keep going to their ward and local government. And once Salvador is leaving, they are all living with their voters card.
The Nigerian government has announced its plans to celebrate the 2018 Independence Day. The chairman, 2018 Independence Day Central Organizing Committee, Gabriel Aduda, says the week-long celebration is to help promote peace and unity among Nigerians. It will involve activities from military and paramilitary officials.
Whether we like it or not, 1st October 1960 cannot be forgotten, or is not a date that should be erased from the memories of this generation or generations to come. So we don't have to wait until we're 60. At 60, we could even do something more special. But the traditional celebrations like it has been, right from when we're growing up, I believe most of you understand what we're talking about. I think we should be able to give the same to the younger generation as they are today. So we feel that we need to go out as much as possible, showcase our military might. And whether we like it or not, this is another way of making a statement to those around us and to the regions around us on what we are and what we are capable of doing.
The attempt is to rekindle that patriotic and civic spirit of all Nigerians, to remind us that yes, we may have gone through a lot, but as a country, we still remain one indivisible and united country. So from that point of view, I just want to say that if we can celebrate Democracy Day, if we can see workers celebrate Labor Day, if we can see children celebrate Children's Day,
In judicial matters, a federal high court in Abuja has issued a bench warrant for the arrest of Senator Hope Uzodinma. Uzodinma, a 7th senator representing Imo West and Smythe Engineering, is standing trial alongside chemical construction firm Niger Global Engineering and Technical Company for the alleged issuance of a $200 million Dodge check to Chitex Ventures and Chima Akuzie. The judge, Abdul Wahab Mohammed, issued a bench warrant against the senator and entered a plea of not guilty for the other defendants. He then adjourned the matter until September 25 for hearing. Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has asked the federal government to provide more support to help the state battle flooding. Bello told newsmen at the State House in Abuja that the request formed part of his discussion with President Muhammadu Buhari. The governor says 10 local government areas in the state are currently underwater and it will need more assistance from the federal government to manage the effects of the flood.
As usual, I come to brief Mr. President on the situation report and the happenings in my state periodically. I'm sure you are all aware of the flood trouble or problem that is happening all across the country, and Kogi is worst hit, being the confluence state, confluence of the two rivers. So we are worst hit, and I needed to come and present the report to him myself. Even though I sincerely appreciate Mr. President for deploying the relevant agencies like NEMA and all the security agencies to come to our aid. As I speak with you, NEMA is already on their way to to Kogi State Lokoja to assess the level of damage, and we have received some substantial amount of relief material so far. It's not yet enough. I need to present the report to him as well. No, first of all, luckily, we experienced this periodically. 2012 were worst hit. We are praying that the situation will not even exceed that this year. What we normally do is we are being proactive to evacuate, sensitize the people and evacuate them to high ground. We have created over 33 camps in Kogi State. As I speak with you, between 9 to 10 local governments are underwater. You can imagine the pressure on our resources. So we are doing our best in collaboration with the federal agencies and security agencies to make sure that we evacuate them to high ground, the IDP camps, and providing security for them and relief materials. So these are the things we are doing, including medicals.
The Nigeria Academy of Pharmacy has honored distinguished Nigerians who have contributed to the development of the profession in Nigeria. One of those honored was Theophilus Danjuma, who was awarded the Honorary Fellowship of the Academy. Another recipient of the award is a seasoned pharmacist, Olu Akinkugbe, who bagged the Lifetime Achievement Award. The president
People
of the Academy...
have been talking about the need to have a research into local herbs. It's taken this long, and it's all about speeches. This is the Academy of Pharmacy. And we feel that you must, at this stage, champion the realization of all these ideas. That's why we have set up a research and innovation center to look into research into local herbs. We are going to identify Nigerians, many of them are very brilliant, who are interested in this research area, and see whether we can give them grants to go further in their attempts to isolate what is useful.
My friend, Chief Olu Akinkugbe, and myself for these awards. I'm very, very grateful. You made me take a pledge to promote research and development. I will take you right away to begin to fulfill that nation.
Up next is news in business after this break.
What's your name?
Also there Morifi. May you check your own list, cause the list where they outside. Not say that your name never do.
Your name is Honoriode. You even went as a fashion designer.
As you don't come back, so now I won't go as Akpobori Ovi, and Ovi won't go as pilots.
That is impersonation.
My own share for the national cake be that.
Mr. Onosode.
Akpobori.
The Amnesty Program is an intervention project for sustainable economic development of the Niger Delta, which you are a beneficiary of, lying under pretext for your selfish gain and advantage is robbing others of the same opportunity. And that is an act of corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country. Stop corruption now. Corruption not in my country.
What do you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy them. Make her show you something. What? What's in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. It don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
We can drink am now. At the sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That one I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country. Stop corruption now.
Glad to have you back. Now, standing by with the latest in business is Annetta Felix. Hello, Annetta.
Hi, Fidelia.
So what do you have for us in business?
Well, financial analysts have asked Nigerian governors to look inwards to generate revenue rather than wait for federal government funds. The experts gave the advice after the 2018 States of State report by Budget, a civic organization committed to the Nigerian budget, to making the Nigerian budget and public data more understandable and accessible to the people. The 2018 presentation highlighted areas of comparative advantage of each state of the Federation and resources that can be exploited to increase the revenue drive.
Holistically, we discovered that states are generally improved because of oil prices, but it's not enough for you to improve just on the back of oil prices. It's important for states to begin to go beyond that. They need to reduce the rate at which they are accumulating debt. And we understand that states have started borrowing money, using local government as conduit. We're saying that is not fine enough. That state needs to actually do the hard work of building the economy, making sure they empower the people, making sure the citizens of those states are actually healthy enough, they are actually well educated, they are well fed. That means they have all the intellectual capacity to make their state better. And then above that, state needs to actually begin to rain down debt. It's not enough to continue to take up debt when you don't have enough funds to actually pay back those debts.
So I'm impressed with the report because I think the report does more than we actually thought it would. I'm very pleased to see it going from, the typical, these are the issues with states and finances in Nigeria, but saying these are the opportunities. And that's what I really like to read about. What are the opportunities? How can we harness more of existing resources in Nigeria to make sure that we're investing?
Looking at the capacity of states to actually sustain themselves economically, not just looking at who is strong or who is not strong, but looking at their viability in terms of the produces they can, from agro to other related outputs. So we know that from this, we now have opportunity of inspiring states to do more, to strengthen their own economies. If states are able to do more and generate more revenue, we know that this will impact health. Even if it is just a percentage of their revenue that goes to health, if there were any 15 naira before and they start earning 100, we know that that percentage will move definitely towards health.
All majors, Shell and Eni, will be carefully monitoring a first ruling this week by a Malian judge in one of the energy industry's biggest corruption scandals for clues as to what might be round the corner for them. The two companies are embroiled in a long-running graft case revolving around the purchase in 2011 of one of Africa's biggest oil fields, Nigeria's OPL 245, for about $1.3 billion. The case, which involves Eni CEO Claudio Descalzi and 4 former Shell managers, including one-time Shell Foundation manager Malcolm Brinded, has spawned legal cases spanning several countries and is expected to drag on for months. But on Thursday, a case running parallel to the main trial, a judge will decide for the first time whether $1.1 billion of the sum paid was siphoned in bribes to win the license for the field. A similar trial is also ongoing in Nigeria. Meanwhile, global oil stock markets slipped on Tuesday as the latest escalation in the Sino-US trade war clouded the outlook for crude demand from the two countries. Brent crude futures dropped 29 cents to $77.76 per barrel, while U.S. crude was down 15 cents at $68.76 per barrel. Refineries in the United States consumed about 17.7 million barrels per day of crude oil last week, while China's refiners used about 11.8 million barrels per day in August, according to government data from the countries. The tariffs are likely to limit economic activity in both China and the United States, potentially hitting growth in demand for oil as less fuel is consumed to move goods for trade. Let's take a look now at the stock market right after this. Recovering from a bearish run yesterday, the Nigerian stock market recorded a 0.56% increase in key market indicators, with the market capitalization closing at 11.821 trillion naira, while shareholders of Nigerian breweries Nascon, Red Starex and Guarantee Trust Bank lost confidence in their brands and sold off so much shares, resulting in a drastic drop in their share price at 90 naira, 18.6 naira, 4.5 naira and 33.7 naira respectively. While winning big today are Nestle Forte Oil for the second time this week, First Bank of Nigeria Holdings and United Bank for Africa. And a surprise today, the banking sector actually leads the top traders chart again today, with Axis Bank dominating that list for the second consecutive time. Its share sales increased by 354% from over 24 million shares yesterday to recording almost 85 million shares sold today, while Skybank and Zenith are retainers on the top traders chart from yesterday, and Sterling Bank makes its first entrance to the top 4 today. Now let's take a look at a summary of today's trading activities, which shows that 4,705 deals were traded and they are worth over 2 billion naira. Taking a look now at the global stock market, we see that due to strong sell-offs, the FTSE declined by 1.87%, and the Dow Jones and Nikkei recorded increases. And that's all right now, Fidelia.
Well, thank you so much, Annetta. So just as we hoped yesterday, the stock market closed in the green.
Indeed.
Well, still to come, a combined 30 people have died in Turkey and Iran from bus accidents. More details after this break. Do stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
How work? Oh, correct, Oga. What is it that you are doing?
Oga, they command the part now. Make we go sell for.
Oga, na correct kuzabi this so. Oga Titus and him boys them. They do am. They will command the original parts, sell them, make plenty kusa. No wonder our customers bring the generator back to our workshop because they bad. And not because of stuff. Now because they overuse the generator. Plus say NEPA no they give them electricity.
Before I open my eye, Makachuku, look at my dog in the heaven. Replace this original generator parts back inside this generator of my customer. In short, before una do am, frog jump. One. Frog jump. 1, 2, 1. Stealing of generator parts or changing of original parts to a fake one. That is the corruption. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country. Stop corruption now.
At least 21 people have been killed in a collision between a passenger bus and a trailer carrying flammable materials in the central Iranian province of Isfahan. The passenger bus was heading from Tehran to Kerman City in the southern part of the country when the accident took place in the early hours of Tuesday morning. 19 passengers of the bus were killed on the spot and 2 others died later at the hospital. 25 people were also injured as a huge fire engulfed the 2 vehicles. In Turkey, 8 people have been killed and 28 others injured when a bus overturned in the country's western province. The bus skidded off the road and plunged into a ditch on a highway. Police units, rescue and emergency teams, including the Disaster and Emergency Management Authority, were dispatched to the crash site, with the wounded passengers rushed to nearby hospitals. Thousands of people lose their lives in road accidents in Turkey each year. According to data from the Security General Directorate, a total of 7,427 people were killed and more than 300,000 others were wounded in traffic accidents in 2017. And in sport, World Football ruling body FIFA has named Luca Piazza and Solomon Mudegbe as its observers for Thursday's elections into the Nigeria Football Federation Executive Committee for 2018 to 2022. Mudegbe is FIFA's senior manager for development programs in Africa, while Piazza is a strong official in the FIFA president's office. The Confederation of African Football has also designated a member of its executive committee, Sita Sangare, as its observer for the big event. Sangare, an army colonel, is also president of the Burkina Faso Football Federation. Global doping watchdog WADA has been urged not to reinstate Russia as its drug-tainted testing authority has not yet fulfilled its obligations to the global sporting community. The warning from the Institute of National Anti-Doping Organizations, INADO, comes 2 days before the World Anti-Doping Agency meets to discuss lifting the ban after being given the green light from investigators. Russia has been banned by WADA since 2015. Arsenal chief executive Ivan Gazidis has resigned to join AC Milan, the Premier League club has announced. The 54-year-old will step down at the end of October following a decade at Emirates Stadium and take up the same role at Milan. Raul Sanllehi and Vinay Venkasham will now head football operations at Arsenal, taking up the head of football and managing director roles, respectively. And it's a wrap on News Now. Thank you so much for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Bye for now.